everyone, and welcome to the role of AI in manufacturing software. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at Microcad. And today's presenter is Jose, our applications specialist. At today's webinar, hopefully, we'll learn how AI enhances efficiency, reduces downtime, improves quality through generative design and automation. As usual, you can ask a question at any given point. On the left hand, you can ask Jose to revisit a step or ask any questions. And in the upper right hand corner, you will find links to our social media, website, and YouTube channel. And we post all of our webinars there at the end so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it on your own time. And without further ado, I'll pass it on to Jose. Hi, Jose.
Hi, Juliana. Hi, everyone. Today's webinar is going to be like very succinct introduction into what AI is and how AI is going to change the whole phase on the manufacturing software, on how business are run, on how you're going to design, how it's going to integrate in your workflows. Because, right now, AI is the latest thing. Everybody's using it. Everybody's going basically it's adopting this new technology. So hopefully this will give us a pretty good insight into how AI is changing the face of the software right now. And hopefully this will give us a good step on how we will move along from now on and talk a little bit about what how these tools work actually in Autodesk software, how you can see AI in the works in Autodesk Fusion, in AutoCAD, in Inventor, in all of those tools. All right. So first and foremost, I just want to check if you can see my screen properly.
Yep.
Yeah. All righty. So, the agenda for today, we're gonna start talking about what AI is, how today's making use of it in the context of design and make. Okay, what the applications for manufacturing are in Autodesk software, and how you can see that AI integration in software such as Autodesk Fusion. All right. So let's start by talking about design and make. So design and make is basically all the philosophy, all the software that's being used um, from Autodesk to make stuff happen. Okay. Basically, it refers to the platform of connect software to the cloud and how you can send that information to all the stakeholders. That is, how you take stuff into Fusion, you start designing Fusion, and you can push that to your revisor. You can push that to your customer. You can push that to another a colleague of yours that's going to work on that design. How everything is interconnected. Okay. So lately, last November, Autodesk launched Autodesk AI. That's an initiative to push Autodesk technology into their products. Basically, to create more creative projects, to help solve problems, eliminate inefficient work practices, basically make stuff better and easier for the regular user. All right. Um, in this case, particularly, we're talking about stuff like Autodesk Forma. If we're talking about architecture, engineering, construction, we're talking about Fusion. If we're talking about product design and manufacturing, and we're talking about Autodesk Flow if we're talking about media and entertainment. So it's not the same tool for all of those, but it's basically the initiative to include artificial intelligence into Autodesk products, and all of that um, it's gonna be fed from the labs in Autodesk. Autodesk has been working lately in many initiatives to make use of AI, even on research papers. There's been like around 30 research papers solely on AI, on how it affects software. And maybe we should ask ourselves why we need this kind of thing. Okay, you've seen that, especially with Chat GPI, the face of the internet has changed. How you search for stuff, how you produce stuff, uh, making use, but searching for help. Basically, everything's changing, right? In some surveys that have been done, basically 66 out of 100 managers said that artificial intelligence is going to be essential for business in short term, in the near years. Okay, so we're talking 2-3 years from now. Basically, everything's going to be using AI in some sort of way. Okay, whether it be for searching on the internet or for helping on the design flows, revision flows. Basically, it's going to be there, right? And on that same line, around 77% of the uh, research managers basically said that they're planning on investing on AI, that is, including that in their workflows, or increase that investment if they're adopting it right now. Okay, so it's very important to know what it does, how it works, or what are the what are the tools that can be used from AI into our own workflows, right? So basically, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we might be talking about several different things. We could be talking about machine learning, we could be talking about deep learning, or we could be talking about generative AI, right? So machine learning basically is a subset of AI, a subset of the methodologies and algorithms that are used for managing big data, that basically lets computers to learn. Okay, so basically it's running algorithms to analyze the data so computers can take that information and make decisions based on that, on those data sets. All right, without the need of actually going into the computer and programming the computer. So the computer kind of learns what's called machine learning, kind of learns what it needs to do based on what has been done before. All right. And the way to do that can be in many different ways. You can use many different types of algorithms, but one of the strategies that's used regularly, it's deep learning. Okay, so deep learning basically refers to doing that machine learning and using algorithms that that are used for that machine learning and that are inspired specifically in some biologically inspired structures called artificial neural networks. So basically, how it works is you set a result that you want to get, you set some inputs that you are planning on using, and you set a combination of layers on how you want to get from those inputs to the result that you actually want. Okay, so for example, if we're talking about a picture, so you say, okay, this pretty picture on Narnia kind of thing, it's supposed to be related to fantasy. It's supposed to be related to magic. It's supposed to be related to dreaming worlds. So dream, magic, worlds, all of that means Narnia. Okay, and the computer learns that, and with the proper sets of information, it's gonna learn how to get from those inputs into my result. Okay, so that way you can train for many things. For example, you can train a computer to produce a certain design, okay, based on an input on loads, based on an input on the original shape where it needs to begin, even for the industry it's going to work in. All right, so that's deep learning. Now, when we're going to apply that deep learning into an actual product, we're talking about generative AI. So basically, this produces novel creations, actual products, or actual designs based on those trained neural networks. All right. Basically, it uses computation to run many real world simulations on how I could solve my problem. All right. And produce many suggestions on how you can achieve or you can solve that problem. Okay. So a very like um, simple example would be asking ChatGPT to give you several solutions on a certain question, right? But when we're talking about Autodesk software, that's so much more. Okay, so it's easier to see all of these kind of things when you see the applications of this artificial intelligence in manufacturing, right? For example, in Autodesk Alias, that is for automotive design, you can set some input requirements for the car that you're trying to produce or to design, and Autodesk can make a search on all the solutions that have been found that include those requirements, okay? And it can produce a certain design based on those parameters, all right? This has been done lately in the software with very good results, and it makes the job go faster, more efficient as well. In Fusion, for example, there's a generative design tool as well for basically defining a part that should apply or that should comply with certain requirements, such as maintaining a load in point A, maintaining a constraint in point B. So basically, you tell the software, you know what, I need this part that's supposed to join this wheel to this crankshaft, and I want to send power from the shaft right here. Okay, how do I do that? There might be a million ways to do that, but the most efficient one, that's what we want to search for. Okay, so we want to find solutions, we want to find options on how to get from here to there, and Autodesk Fusion is going to do that. Okay, so that's generative design on the works. We can also see uh, um, artificial intelligence in the works when we're creating toolpaths. So this is a tool that has been around for a while, and basically it tries to remove on machining operations, it tries to remove as much material as fast as you can, so the most efficient way of getting this part to be machined. Okay, that's based on the requirements for the speed, based on the restrictions on how much load the tool can withstand, right? But by the end of the day, is automated design. It's AI on the works. This one's very cool as well. When you see on Fusion how you can automate drawings, basically Fusion recognizes what needs to be done, the requirements for the views that needs to be placed, the dimensions that needs to be placed, the main dimensions, or for the main features, those kind of things. This is gonna help a lot into creating documentation on those kind of things. Now, if we're talking about the real life examples of AI, well, there's a lot of there. There are some applications that are very simple, such as creating a little bracket on a home computer, like I have done sometimes. But some of the most interesting ones have been put out there for Autodesk for people just to get inspired, right? For example, for this company called Newton that was designing a lid for reception of material samples from Mars. That that lid design was done using generative design in Fusion. Okay, so basically on a space mission, you want to be as precise as you can. There's no room for failure, and you need to look for the most optimized design. That is for as lower cost as it can be, it's lower weight because it's stuff that's moving in our space. So doing that design in our space was done using Fusion 360. Or, for example, on NASCAR races, you know that this engineering in automotive design, it's all about racing against uh, the requirement for weight, right? It's racing against or competing against who has the most light car, who has the fastest car, and so on. Okay, so every single gram that you can eliminate from your car, it's gonna help. Okay, so this guy, so Stewart has and basically redesigned the brake pedal for Mustang, and they did it in 2 weeks notice. You know what? The race is 2 weeks from now. We need to design this right now. So basically, we're gonna go into Fusion. You're gonna put the requirements. Fusion is gonna search into all the possible solutions, and boom, there you go. Fast, reliable, and efficient. Okay. Same for SRAM with or bicycle crank arms. So basically, you need to reduce as much weight as possible. And in order to do that, you need to redesign the parts that don't require a whole part to achieve the purpose. So, for example, in this case, the crank arm can be replaced by a very organic structure that is going to transmit those loads as well, and it's gonna give you the advantage on racing, bicycle racing. So this was done too in Fusion as well. All right. So how this looks actually on Fusion probably would be something that we might want to see on our own webinar, right? But just real quick, we can show how this kind of stuff works, right? Can be something as simple as just asking Fusion questions with an assistant, which is something that was included in the latest version of Fusion, right? So basically, you can ask something here. For example, can you, or are there any tutorials on static simulation? Okay, so it works kind of like a chat GPT kind of thing, and it's gonna point you to the right location. It's gonna take you to curated Autodesk sources that you can go to, and that's gonna be reliable. Okay, so it might be something as simple as that, or it could be something as complex as using the generative design tool. So in this case, what I'm trying to do is create a mechanism that's going to transmit load from point A, point B, but I don't want any weight going on through here. So what I did here was I established a geometry that needs to be preserved to transmit the load, and obstacle geometry that I need to avoid. And I'm basically telling the software, please transmit this load to that load with this restriction and avoid this. And Autodesk is going to show me all the solutions that can be found there. Okay, so it's going to produce several options for me to evaluate. I can check these options as well. For example, if I want to check the maximum stress versus the mass of my solutions, those solutions were searched based on criteria as minimum weight, different materials, the least amount of stress that I want to convey in my in model, in the design that I get by the end, and I can basically evaluate all the produced results. Okay, so for example, let's say I like this one because it's very, very, very lightweight, right? So I'm gonna take this one, and there we go. Kind of like the mechanism I was expecting, right? So that way I can be sure that I'm not gonna go over my stresses, that my part's gonna hold, right? But if I'm not happy with the solution, I can evaluate other ones. For example, see this one, how it looks. Right? So a slightly different option, but with the difference that in this case, Autodesk or Fusion found the solution with additive manufacturing. Okay, so it's gonna reduce some weight there. It's gonna apply some material there. The other one was using mill design, that is doing machining, right? And basically, this is what it does. Okay, so it can be very complex problem. In this case, it's not that complicated, but you get the gist. I mean, it's a very powerful tool that we can use, and it's gonna use AI in order to achieve those results, right? So hopefully, in some upcoming series, we'll start to explore these tools. Basically, let you know how this can work for your workflows as well, for the type of work that you do, and just keep exploring that. It's a very exciting world out there for AI, and basically the options are unlimited, right? So this was like a very brief introduction on what AI can do, and yeah, hopefully we'll see more of that in the future.
Thank you, Jose, for that wonderful presentation. And yeah, as he mentioned, this is just the surface. If you have any questions, you can get back to us via these
Right.
contact
So
information. And also, you
I
have there
guess
my
my
contact
screen just kind of
information.
froze. So I'm gonna take this out of here. There we go. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for watching this webinar. You know, if Juliana, you have any last comments?
Yeah, I was telling everyone that if you have any questions, you can let us know in the email that we'll be sending after this webinar. And also, here you have our contact numbers based on state and my contact information as well. Thank you, Jose, and thank you, everyone, for attending. Yeah, have a great day. Goodbye.
Just share here.